Hello. Do you remember when Peter wanted to walk on the water to go out and meet Jesus? And then something happened and he started to sink. And as he started to sink, panic caught him and he cried out for help. And Yahshua picked him up and got him safely into the boat. Matthew chapter 14 verse 28. Let's read. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahshua. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Yahshua stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? If Yahshua had not been there, who would have picked him up off the water? When a child takes their first steps in faith, they are completely connected to their parent that watches them. And when they fall down, they get back up and continue to walk. And they walk in faith. And we all know that it doesn't matter how many times the baby falls down, eventually it will get up and walk. When we as Christians walk in faith, we may some days have a very strong faith. And we may feel that we are invincible and we can do anything. And we take on all kinds of tasks. On other days, our faith is reduced. And sometimes this switch can come in an instant, especially when you least expect it and when you least need it. Peter experienced that he had enough faith to be walking on water, but as he marveled in this, he suddenly realized the realities around him. He was experiencing himself doing the impossible in a world where doing the impossible should be impossible. Suddenly, he took in on himself the realities of the world he lived in, and they superseded the faith in God to do the impossible. Be careful now in these days and times when there's a lot of dangers lurking out in the world, because we may have enough faith to do one thing, but in the next moment our faith can waver, and that, my dear friends, can result in catastrophes. We need to be brave and act in lack of fear, but we need to not be foolish. We need to not do the things that is a given that we are not strong enough in our faith to do yet. And we're all different members in the body of Christ. Just because it's right for one person to break with the world and live in faith, it may not be right for another. We can all be strong in different areas. You may excel in faith in areas where I am weak, and I may excel in faith in areas where you are weak. Sometimes we excel in areas where we're both weak or both strong. We complement each other. Now, you may have experienced that you have been very close to God in your spirit and you felt really strong in your belief. And during this joyful period of time, you said yes to a bunch of things that you were gonna do. Later on, you don't feel that close anymore. And now you start regretting that you said yes to do these tasks. What happens is that your faith is wavering. Just like Peter walking on the water, your faith is now wavering and you are starting to wondering, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? What do I have to offer? And all of these things that makes you sabotage your own faith walk. Think about it. When was the last time you said yes to something and then you regretted saying yes later? Then you made a phone call and made up a silly excuse? It's normal. It happens to everybody. It's a weak moment when the devil gets to us, and we may suffer from guilt for a long time after this. Instead of that, we know what's going to happen. Turn to God your Father and pray. And ask for Him to fill those insecurities and to give you back the joy you had when you said yes to do the task, so that you do not sabotage the plan that God has made for you.